Good morning, sir. Good morning, classmates. My name is Rosabel Anchito Nidero, and I am the reporter of Module 10 and the terrestrial ecosystem. The learning outcomes is first to identify the different types of terrestrial ecosystems. Number two is to describe the key characteristics of each terrestrial ecosystem. And number three is explain the importance of terrestrial ecosystems to human and the environment. A terrestrial ecosystem is a type of ecosystem found only on landforms, and there are five terrestrial ecosystems exist. The first is tundra, taiga, forest, grasslands, and deserts. So, the tundra is a very cold type of land environment. There are two types, the Arctic tundra and the alpine tundra. Pag sinabing Arctic tundra, it is found in Arctic Circle north of the forest. Pag sinabi namang alpine tundra, it is found in the tops of mountains. Both types are extremely cold all the year. Because of this cold, only the uppermost layer of the soil melts in summer. The deeper soil stays frozen all year, and this permanent frozen layer is called permafrost. Because the ground is frozen and the climate is harsh, no trees can grow. Only small plants like lichens, scrubs, and low-growing brushes can survive. And for animals naman, most animals move to the warmer places during winter because winter conditions in the tundra are too harsh for them to stay. So, the taiga ecosystem. It is another type of forest ecosystem in the taiga, also known as northern coniferous forest or boreal forest. It covers a large range of land stretching around the northern hemisphere. So, the taiga, also called as boreal forest or northern coniferous forest, is another major type of forest ecosystem. It forms a wide band of forest around the northern part of the earth and the northern hemisphere. So it does not have many different species of plants and animals, so its biodiversity is low. Has cold temperatures most of the year. Has short growing seasons meaning plants have only a short time in summer to grow. Has poor soil, which makes it hard for many plants to survive. So they experience long days in winter and very short days in summer because of its northern location. The animals that live in taiga include lynx, moose, wolves, bears, burrowing rodents, which is it's the animals that digs and live in the ground. It's the burrowing rodents. So let us now move to forest ecosystem. So, forest covers one-third of the land on Earth. The main plants found in forests are trees, and these forests are grouped into different types based on what kind of trees they have and how much rainfall they receive. So, some common types of forest ecosystems include temperate deciduous forest, temperate rainforest, tropical rainforest, tropical dry forest, and northern coniferous forest or taiga. So, the difference between tropical dry forest and tropical rainforest, they have two seasons, a wet season and a dry season. Trees often lose their leaves during the dry period. So the tropical rainforests rain rain all year around. Stay warm and wet, which helps many plants and animals thrive. So the human impact, both tropical dry forests and tropical rainforests experience human pressure, mainly because people cut down trees to have out to make farms, cattle ranches, or to build communities. So this lead to deforestation, which destroy habitats, biodiversity, because tropical rainforests have plenty of rain and warm, stable temperatures. So let us now move on to grassland ecosystem. So grassland ecosystem are large open areas covered mainly with the grasses instead of trees. There are two main types, the temperate grassland and the tropical grasslands. The temperate grassland example is prairies, prairies or North America and steppes Asia. They experience seasonal changes like winter, summer, and etc. They do not receive enough rain to support big forests. So the land is mostly flat and covered with tall or short grasses. While the tropical grasslands or savannas, example is the African savanna. These grasslands are found in tropical regions. They have wet and dry seasons, but the temperature stays warm all year. Scattered trees may be present, but the land is still mostly grass. So the human impact is that grasslands around the world have often been turned into farmlands because their soils is fertile. This destroys natural habitats and reduces biodiversity, meaning there are fewer types of plants and animals living there. So the animals in grassland ecosystems are home to many grazing animals. Animals that eat grasses, examples gazelles, antelopes, zebras, bisons, wildebeest. These animals survive well in open areas with plenty of grass. So let us now move on to ecosystem. So what is desert ecosystem? So it is mainly defined by how little rain it gets. This is the most important factor that makes an area a desert. So the rainfall deserts how deserts receives less than 25 centimeter or 10 inches of rain in the entire year. Because of this extremely dry climate, not many plants and animals can survive. So, desert soil has lots of minerals but very little organic matter. So, dead plants or animals. This means the soil is not very fertile. So, the vegetation or plants, some areas have almost no plants, other areas have plants that are highly adapted to survive with very little water such as cacti, succulents, deep-rooted shrubs. These plants have special features like thick stems, waxy surfaces, or long roots to store or collect water. So the Sonoran Desert is located in North America or US and Mexico. Has many different types of plants such as succulents, cacti, desert scarabs. These plants have special adaptations to survive in very dry conditions. This main challenge is preventing water loss. Example is the creosote scrub. It has a thick, waxy coating on its leaves. This coating reduces transpiration. The process where water escapes from leaves. It is the transpiration. And this helps the plant keep water longer in the hot, dry desert. While the Sahara Desert is one of the most famous desert in the world. It covers the entire northern part of Africa. It about the same size as the whole the United States in the largest hot desert in the world. Reaches extremely high temperature. Because of its size, heat, and dryness, the Sahara has limited vegetation, but still supports specially adapted plants, animals, and human. So let us now move on to the Earth biomes map. The map shows the major biomes found on Earth and where they are located. Biomes are large regions of the world that have similar climate, plants, and animals. So, understandable naman yung color coding. So, why this map is important? It shows how climate affects life. It explains why different plants and animals live in different parts of the world. and it helps us to understand how temperature, rainfall, and location shape ecosystem. So let us now move on to formation of soil. So soil is not formed quickly. It takes thousands of years for soil to develop. It begins with big rocks, which slowly break down into smaller pieces and eventually into tiny particles that become soils. So, how soil forms? Big rocks break into smaller rocks. Wind and rain constantly hit the rocks. So, over many years, these forces cause the rocks to crack and crumble. So, smaller rocks break into tiny particles as weathering continues the pieces of rock and become smaller and smaller. So these tiny particles mix with air, water, and organic matter, or the dead plants and animals, to form a soil. So there are two types of weathering, the physical weathering, the chemical weathering. Pag sinabing physical weathering, rocks break due to physical forces such as wind, heat and cold, or the temperature changes, flowing water and ice wedging, etc. The rock changes shape or size but does not change its chemical makeup. Well, the chemical weathering naman, rock breaks down because of chemical reactions such as rainwater mixing with minerals, acids from plants, oxygen reacting with rock, or the oxidation, and this changes the chemical structure of the rock, turning it into softer materials. So there are agents of weathering, the natural forces that break down rocks. So these factors work together over long periods to turn rock into soil. So there are wind, rain, temperature changes, flowing water, ice, living organisms, or the plants, animals, and bacteria. So, soil forms when big rocks break down slowly through physical and chemical weathering. Natural forces or agents like wind, water, and temperature help break the parent rock into tiny particles. So, over many years, these particles become the soil we use for growing plants. So, there are components of soil profile. The soil horizon, or the horizons of the soils. Soil horizon is mix of distinct layer of the soil. The horizon runs roughly parallel to the soil surface and has different properties and characteristics than the adjacent layer above and below. So there are five master horizons in the soil profile. Not all soil profiles contain all five horizons, and so soil profiles differ from one location to another. It consists of the following horizons: the O organic surface layer, and A surface soil, A subsurface, and B subsoil, C substratum, R and bedrock. Pag sinabing O horizon, it is the organic layer. It is the topmost layer of the soil, mostly made of organic material like leaves, twigs, and other plants residues. Pag sinabi namang A horizon, surface mineral soil. This is the layer of mineral soil just below the O horizon. It's called the topsoil and contains a mix of minerals particles like sand, salt, and clay, and organic matter. So the O horizon is mostly organic on the surface and less decomposed on the top. The A horizon naman is the mineral rich, nutrient rich, and the full of soil life, forming the critical topsoil layer of the plants. The B horizon naman, or the subsoil, the layer beneath the A or the topsoil and the A elevated horizons, often called subsoils. So it contains less organic material than the A horizon, so it is less dark. Its color comes mainly from iron oxides, reddish, yellowish, or brownish hues. So let us now come to sea horizon or the substratum. This is the layer beneath the B horizon, sometimes called the parent material. It is mostly unweathered or slightly weathered rock or the sediments. It contains very little organic matter and soil structure is usually poorly developed. So, the source of minerals of the upper layer as it slowly weathers over time influences the soil texture, drainage, and fertility about it. So, in simple term, the top layer, the O, A, and A, rich in organic matter and affected by organisms and leaching. The B layer naman or the collector of materials washed down, least organic but important for nutrients. Ang C layer naman is the root parent material from which soil develops. So the sea horizon is basically the raw material from which all soils is like the bedrock or the soil profile but still loose enough to influence the layer above. So in these two types of soils illustrate the difference in the soil profiles. The soil profiles at the leaf is the Hamakupoko series, which is an old soil with distinct profile development. The soil profile at the right is the Kihua series. The Kihua series is the acid soil, which also shows two horizons in the soil profiles. Thank you for listening.